Here now with Bob Costas and the Concussion Legacy Foundation Gala that we're at 10 years celebrating. So for you, when you look at this, you've been very outspoken about concussions. What have you seen out of this foundation and what they've done?
Well, what they've tried to do is raise awareness about the issue. And I think very often people misunderstand it as something that's hostile toward football or other contact sports. It's not. It's the recognition of an issue, and it's an issue that has to be dealt with or it imperils the future of the game. Few people love baseball more than I do, but when I saw that steroids were a problem in baseball, I mentioned it. We all love college basketball and college football. We'd all love it even more if we could align academics and athletics. Speaking out about those things is not an attack on things which we love, things which we share an interest in and connects generations. I get all that. I grew up as a football fan, but I also know what the evidence says. And the facts are the facts, and we have to face those facts and figure out how to deal with them.
And you're not alone, that has spoken out about if you had a 12 or 13-year-old son, you wouldn't want them playing football. We've seen now Al Horford going through concussion protocol in the NBA. Have you seen other sports do something with concussions that you'd like to see football do?
Well, other sports have concussion protocols. Like, for example, baseball has a 7-day concussion disabled list. If you go through a concussion protocol and if you are actually good to play, that encourages teams not to overlook a concussion because you don't have to put the guy on a lengthy disabled list situation. So everyone has responded in their own way, but it's the contact sports that have the greatest problem. Can you have it in any sport? Of course. Are there concussions in baseball? Of course. Are there concussions in basketball and other sports? Of course. But it's the sports that have the most consistent and the hardest contact that obviously have the greatest problem.
10 years from now, where do you hope to see concussions and how sports are dealing with them?
Well, I hope that there is an understanding, especially in youth sports, that kids are starting contact sports too young, because the young brain is even more susceptible to damage. The same hit on a 15-year-old has an even more dire consequence than on a 28-year-old or a 30-year-old. And obviously, the earlier you start, if you're good enough to play beyond scholastically, you're good enough to play in college or in the NFL or whatever, then cumulatively, the more hits you will endure. So an understanding of non-contact practice, the fundamentals of the game but without contact, limiting or perhaps even eliminating contact until you're at a certain age. It's going to be hard for people to get their arms around that because they love the game and it's been part of their lives and it's part of the culture in a large portion of the country. Youth football, for example. But the later people start, the less the chance that they'll have long-term negative consequences.
Well, I think it's great you're out here speaking about it and being honored tonight. So thanks so much and enjoy the night.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you.